Happened in the 90's.
Take one and action. Hey, what's the best thing about breakfast at McDonald's?
Coffee.
Pour it out of the cup, it's steaming, it's dark and rich.
I pour it personally.
Coffee fresh?
Fresh brewed. Fantastic cup of coffee.
So what's the secret?
Arabica.
Oh, what's an Arabica?
Arabica beans.
Oh, the beans. And what else?
It's always fresh.
It just tastes good.
And they like to come in and talk with each other, and just like the small coffee shop long ago.
How much a coffee refill?
They're free. What you want is what you get.
It's guaranteed.
What's up?
Yeah.
Go. It could be just as eye-opening, bro.
I just think the suburbs get painted as like this, just pristine. You know, everything's like Pleasantville almost. You know,
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
and it looks maybe if like on the surface it might look like that, but I came from a place that was like, I don't know what the population would be, but it'd be like a Mayberry type place, like sort of out in the middle of the country. There's maybe like a few, it's like what do they call those, townships or something? It's not even really like a city. And so
Yeah.
I came from like a really like small town, all your neighbors know each other, you're all hanging out together, that type of place that was more like Pleasantville. And then I got to Perrysburg and it was like, you motherfucker. It was just like a Jerry Springer episode, which, hey, I enjoyed it. You know, it added a little flavor to my language, but I don't think my mom would have appreciated that.
Yeah, profanity adds seasoning to your vocabulary, I feel, man. It emphasizes things. They're like exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Instead of saying
dash of language, you know, it adds a little zest to it.
I went to the office, or I went to the fucking office. See? It adds you know? It implies extra things.
You get a little intonation of emotion when you add a curse word.
Exactly.
Like, oh, okay, he's pissed. I need to back away now.
He doesn't want to go to that fucking office.
Yeah.
Now, if he just said he went to the office, it's just meh. There's nothing to it. If he went to that fucking office, he probably doesn't like people there.
I mean, so shout out to Perrysburg. Thanks for the awesome vocabulary, if nothing else. Great times. Awesome.
Fuck Perrysburg.
See, there you go. I know Steve isn't a fan of Perrysburg. I get that now. And he learned that in Perrysburg. So there you go. It's a catch-22, Steve.
I hope all of your teams lose. If I had the money and if I had the means and the time, because I'm petty like this, I would love to go to one of their games and just cheer hard for the other side. I would like to do that for a week straight, whether it's fucking lacrosse, football, whatever the fuck is going on for that season.
Steve, we're gonna get some mommy high school t-shirts. We're gonna go back during that game and we're just gonna harass Perrysburg. How about it? Let's do it.
Boo, you trust fund babies. Eat a dick. Your mom can eat a dick. Your mom did eat dicks. I went to school with her.
Yeah, that's real fucked up because now we can really get into those players that like, your mama, oh, Michael.
Yeah.
We saw it. Look at her now.
And your daddy is a daddy pleasing bitch. Oh, daddy, don't hit me. Oh. Are you scared of your daddy like your daddy was of his daddy? You little bitch. Fuck Perrysburg. I swat Yellow Jackets.
I ain't living there. I swat. Yeah, see, dude, we need to get Mommy on the phone. I swat Yellow Jackets. That's good marketing right there.
Yeah, man.
Toss
and
it
I just
all
woke up.
Mommy. Toss it all into that dirty ass fucking river.
Today I got time, cuz.
Well, we're
so
petty.
check this out.
It's all right.
Check this out, man. So, you know, that Sandra Bullock clip, I sent that out to a couple of my friends, man, because I thought it was pretty funny too, man. We went in.
We
went in.
I mean, you went in a way that not only was informative, I think, to the public, but I mean, I'll bring it up right now and start laughing. So you did it, Steve. Salute to you.
But I'm friends with some of these snowflake ass fucking and I'm for the most part I'm a liberal for the most part, but like I like to find balance, man. So and some of my friends are a little bit too much on that side, so they took offense. Some of them took offense to it, and we got negative reviews.
Wait,
and one of those.
What were the critiques, Steve? What was the critique?
Well, this motherfucker told me I need to stop going negative, and he's defending Sandra Bullock's career choices. And and the thing that got me was this motherfucker of all people, and I'm not going to say his name. I don't think he's a bad person, but this annoyed the fuck out of me. He is negative. He is such a negative motherfucker, and he's telling me to he took a 2-minute clip out of a 2-hour show. Out of a 2-hour episode, and he basically reduced us to negative talking heads.
How dare you?
And I'm like, dude, and I asked him, so did you watch the whole episode or did you just watch the clip? Oh, I just watched the 2-minute clip.
Shut up, bitch!
It's like, dude, how fucking fair is that? Like, we're giving praise, we're giving people flowers, man. We have a show called the 90s. We're giving this whole decade, we're holding it in reverence, man. And that just pissed me off. And it's not that I can't take criticism, but the fact that he is more of a negative, sensitive ass fucking liberal. Oh, we want to save the jellyfish testicles in the rainforest. Oh, he's one of those motherfuckers, man. And dude, I'm sorry, I'm not Woody Allen. I'm not, okay.
Wait, Woody Allen. So wait, this man's supporting Woody Allen over you?
He's a fucking Woody Allen fanatic, dude.
Okay. Well, your credibility's gone. We're just saying some funny things, guys. Sandra Bullock, we called her beautiful while we were annihilating her quote unquote good career choices, sir. Guy that I want to know who it is because I hope do I know this guy?
No, you don't. No,
okay, all right.
But
I'm panicking, but
dude, yeah, like I said, I don't think she's a bad person.
Hey, man, we all make some bad. What was the guy's name from Growing Pains?
Alan Thicke?
No, the son.
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron. Okay, love Growing Pains. He's made a couple of career choices I don't like and I think are weird, but is he a success? Yes. Do we love him? Yes. But again, we're gonna shit on the weirdness. That's what life's all about, That makes it funny to me. And also, what career choices are you defending of Sandra Bullock? What is it? You know what? When she did Demolition Man, she was really stretching in that role.
I think just the fact that I was pretty crass.
Did you hear that, Coach? He's cursing.
It doesn't even have to be anything sexual, man. I mean, even Michelle Pfeiffer did cocaine with Tony Montana back in the 80s, man. Spice up your career. Do something provocative, man.
Cut somebody's head off in a movie. Do something. Curse in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Curse. And don't let it be oh, shit. You did something bad, you're the goody two-shoes lady, like you said, Steve. I mean, I'm trying to rack my brain here to think of anything where she's not done what you said. And again, I'm defending you. If I'm on this case, I'm your Johnny Cochran in this case. I'm defending you to the death. So.
Man, Robert Shapiro. Even Glenn Close was busting it open and boiling rabbits on the stove. Do something. You're always so nice. Just so nice. He's like, dude, I told him, I'm sorry, I'm not Woody Allen, man. You want to know something about Woody Allen, Matt? You know a fun fact about Woody Allen?
He's a notorious pervert. He's a notorious pervert, Steve?
Woody Allen makes movies for people who stare at children too damn long.
Well, he stares at children too damn long and then marries those children and has a relationship with those children for the rest of his life. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and judge this nameless guy who's calling us talking heads who are judgmental. I mean, am I hurt a little bit? Yes. Do I acknowledge that he does have a point? Sure. But that's what we do, guys.
All you got to do is walk away.
And he's wrong. You made, if I'm remember the last scene in Billy Madison where they just had to have a debate off or just give a speech about something. if I'm in the audience and you gave the speech you did for Sandra Bullock, you're awarded all the points, Steve. You've won. So I support you. And your friend,
I hit major
I think we're
checkpoints.
going to win him over. You know, I think through all of this, he's going to realize he was wrong. Maybe
No,
he
he's
just
not.
loves Sandra Bullock so much. He just couldn't like detach, you know. He's got a thing.
Hey, man, I get it. Our show is not for everybody, Matt. I told him, hey, fuck our show. Don't watch our show.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you something. We don't care.
And you know what, man? Speaking of giving people their flowers, I had one of those epiphanies, man. I got it at the corner store the other day.
Okay.
Got one of those epiphanies, and it just dawned upon me, you know what? Kenan Thompson, as far as longevity, in terms of longevity, he might be the GOAT of child actors. Now, hear me out. No, actually, just marinate on it for a minute.
Okay. I'm 100% already there with you, Steve. First of all, we all love Kenan and Kel. We saw him on all that. You and I are from that generation. So we've seen him as a child. So to me, I'd say after Good Burger, I would have expected him to take the Corey Feldman obligatory shit of a child
Where
actor.
are they now?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some coke, a hooker, some sort of law, you know, some sort of arrest maybe. It never happened. He got on SNL. He's been on SNL for, Jesus Christ, a decade plus, I think. I don't know what the exact number is. And then
he's broken the record, I think.
Yeah, he definitely has. And then I don't know if you've seen his show that is actually just like a network sitcom called Kenan that's out now. It's actually quite good for what it is. For a sitcom that's been brought out now, it's great. So the motherfucker's killing it.
Now, he didn't have an impact or be the lead man like Macaulay or Fred Savage or even Elijah Wood. He was always kind of a part of an ensemble cast like Mighty Ducks or Heavyweights.
Yeah.
All
great movies, though. All
great, especially in the 90s, man. And like he ended up having his own show with one of his buddies in Nickelodeon. That's kind of a cult classic. Like I said, all that, which was like a children SNL. So he was kind of primed and groomed for this, man. And he just never stopped. Now he ended up being Fat Albert right around the time he was on SNL. He joined SNL, and he's been on there for about 2 decades. 2 decades plus.
2 decades now. I mean, you're probably right. I just never. It's like time's weird when you get older. You kind of you like, you know, sort of like, I can't even think of the word, but yeah, that makes sense. And I like even those movies you're talking about, and to think that he took that character and like that sketch Good Burger, and they made, you know, that's basically the same trajectory of somebody on SNL, and he did it on Nickelodeon. They got a huge like hit, like skit that was recurring, and they turned it into, I mean, you can argue about it, but I thought that was a great kids 90s movie. And it's got a lot, I mean, it's filled with Sinbad's fucking in it, you know, it's
Shaq's in it.
Style. Yeah, I mean, it's a good movie for a kids movie. So I'm with you, dude. The motherfucker, I can't even, if you want to even put anybody up next to him, I can't even think anybody to put up next to him. As far as kids, successful, like kid to adult actors, there's nobody you could.
Who's maintained that, man? Because the Coreys were cool, but they took a hiatus and ended up getting strung out, man. Everyone loves Macaulay Culkin. He was the fucking man. He was that kid, the whiz kid.
Yeah.
But, you know, he took a hiatus. Fred Savage, he's kind of taking more of a production behind the scenes, man. And Ben,
I would say put him there because he never took a shit. He just stopped. He didn't need to work. It's like, if you make so much money as a kid, at least he turned it into what you said, like a career behind the scenes where, I mean, I think he's actually directed It's Always Sunny and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like shit that we love, you know, obviously he's got a great mind for comedy in general. So, and he also had some great movie, Fred Savage, but I'm not going to, Kenan, to me, as a 90s kid, he's that you never would have thought he'd still be here doing what he's doing now. You know what I mean? Same career,
because you hadn't
just as good because it never happened. Everybody else, it's like they either died of an OD or they're Corey Feldman.
And dude, he's been around our whole life.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, I remember,
You know?
dude, it's crazy that all that, like, what they pulled that off. You know, if you think about that, I haven't watched it. Like, I've not gone back and watched any of those episodes, but just the talent that they had on that, and the fact that they were able to pull off an SNL with kids, basically, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like it. I mean, Keenan Kel. What did Kel do in this? Like, did he have a problem, or was he just not working? Was that what it was?
He just wasn't working, man. And you know, he actually auditioned with Keenan for SNL. And Lauren obviously
Can you
didn't
imagine
pick
if
him.
they got on SNL together? Do you think that would have been good?
Dude, that would have been great, man.
I've
Like,
I'm thinking that too. Like, how crazy, like, because they could have gone, like, it would have been an evolution. You know, they would have had to do adult stuff as Keenan and Kel. I'm assuming, you know, they'd want to
Yeah.
lean into that. And fuck,
And-
that's a cool, like, what if scenario.
And if you look at that audience, SNL, I'm sure it's our generation, man. Cats who grew up in the 80s and the 90s watching Nickelodeon and, you know, Keenan and Kel. And we don't have that anymore. We don't have like comedy duos. There's no like Laurel and Hardy. There's no like, it's just really been, for the most part, in this modern era, solo comedians, man. So like, that's
Unless
missed.
it's the Sklar brothers, I guess. Like, maybe that's a modern day comedy duo, but they're twins.
Yeah, they're
So,
twins.
yeah. You're right. There really isn't like that is a strange, like, bygone era type thing, but I mean, they
Change it up.
kind of brought it back, haven't they? Haven't they sort of reestablished like a Keenan and Kel-ish? Like, they did that for, maybe it was for a commercial or something. That was it. But
Well, they've always been bros. I think they might have had a minor rift, a little fallout, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're on good terms, man. And yeah, dude, it would be great to see him come on for at least a skit or something, man, because you know,
I mean, they would get all the ratings if they did that. You know, the world would tune into that shit.
oh my God, I'd lose my shit. And I know you know that Eddie Murphy hosted last season, and there's a meme with him, Chappelle, Chris Rock, Tracy Morgan, and Keenan. And people are kind of like joking with Keenan, kind of like he doesn't belong here. And it's like, dude, if you think about it, all of these guys are goats in some regard, man. Keenan, he's a legend, man. And
well, if you want to think about it, Keenan, other than Eddie Murphy, I mean, Eddie Murphy, clearly everyone puts him at the top of the list because of what he did in the 80s and early 90s and stuff. But like, if you put Keenan next to like a Dave Chappelle, sure, he's not like, he hasn't transcended his profession and become more of like a philosopher and like just like an Dave Chappelle's still a comedian, hilarious, but he's become more than that. Like, people want to know his opinion and respect his opinion as like just like as a human being. So but Keenan was famous as long as he's maintained fame with Chappelle. Chappelle's sort of done a different thing, but all that was when did Killing Him Softly come out? I'm trying to think, because I mean, that's to me when Dave Chappelle really started to become like a superstar in comedy. He was a huge comedian, but I think that's when people started to really become aware of him, you know?
Well, I do think Dave Chappelle was the GOAT of stand-up comedy, man.
Oh, he is, without a doubt, for sure.
And I just love, in the last few years, I don't know if you noticed this, man, but I love calling people the goats of something. It's just a fun, it's a fun day. Like, hey, man, I like giving people flowers with my negative 90s ass. I love giving people their flowers, man. And, you know, all those guys, Chris Rock, he's the GOAT. I don't think he's the GOAT of stand-up comedy. I think Chappelle is, but when it comes to creating your own brand, and just having having your voice as your brand.
Yeah, I think Chris Rock, the thing I would say about him the most is that Chris Rock's been able to maintain, like, to me, hopefully it's who he is as like an artist in everything he's ever done. When he was on SNL, you know, he had to do what people do on SNL, but eventually he got some of his shit on SNL and sort of maintained like what I would see. He never just became like an SNL person that just kind of melted into the background. You know what I mean? He was always Chris Rock in a skit or so. So like, to me, that's like a moment in time thing, because there was a moment in time where he was the GOAT of stand-up. When he released Bigger and Blacker, that like wave of his, I mean, nobody was touching him at that point. So he's hit that peak, you know.
Like him and Gilbert Godfrey, I feel like they make their voices their moniker.
Yeah,
like
well, it's like they're trying to think, like their tone of voice and the rhythm of how they tell a joke. It's like a Dave Attell thing. It's almost like you can make a noise and still you'd know who is like, you know, like you could just do something. And like, I don't know what that would be for Chris Rock, but it's just almost like the rhythm of his joke telling is, you can't, as soon as you just like, you might not even know what the joke is or look at the TV, be like, that's fucking Chris Rock. You know who it is.
Easily.
I mean, Gilbert Godfrey, it's like, there's no mistake. If you don't know who that is, you've been in a cave for fucking 3 decades.
And there's a sense of genius to that, I feel, man. And you know, that Aflac duck, what was it? The bird in Aladdin, the parrot.
Iago.
You know what I mean? It's so distinct.
And also his brand of what he leaned into later on was more of like, maybe it was always who he was. I just never really heard his stand up, but like brutal and dirty, like Bob Saget like jokes. That were just, he did a roast. I think it was the Bob Saget roast, honestly, in Comedy Central. And his only punchline in the roast was like, Bob Saget raped a woman. And he just kept saying that over and over again until it became funny. It was so bizarre. But that's, to me, is what I like about Gilbert Godfrey, is almost like he's so confident in who he is as like a comedian, that he'll just stick with a joke. He won't like pull out of it if he thinks people are not into it. He'll just keep going until it becomes funny, you know, to have that kind of confidence. I don't have that. I'd be like, I'd just rush off stage, but he'll just sit there and go,
Bob Saget, who raped and killed a girl in 1990.
It was so weird, dude.
You ever notice you can't really smell your own breath?
Hi, Tim. Problem, Tim?
You can smell other people's breath, but not your own, even though it's right under your nose. So you search for fresh, clean breath, or face the consequences.
Hey, guys.
Want fresh, clean breath? Get the Only Mint with Redson, and be certain with certs.
This is Steve G and Matt G. It happened in the 90s. The show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your pagers and your pog sets, because it's you and me.
And you simultaneously.
Simultaneous loving, baby.
2 or 3.
2 or 3. Much better.
Dude, it's all about this rhythm, Steve. It's all, and we didn't even hate on anybody.
Yeah, with our negative ass.
Steve, I can't even get off this. You fucked my head up, okay?
Yeah.
Your guy, your friend, I don't know. Maybe I can take criticism. I thought I was above this, but now it's in my head. So just know that, everybody. Moving forward, this is a new world for me and Steve. This is a new era for what happened in the 90s.
Yeah, it's a sad truth, man. We're not going to hit all of the shots we take.
Yeah, well, the one shot I want to take is at Paramount Plus, and whoever is the record keeper at Nickelodeon for Salute Your Shorts, because you have completely fucked us on this episode, but we're going to push through, and we're going to be positive about it, Steve. We're not going to hate. We're going to give Salute Your Shorts as one of my favorite Nickelodeon kid shows of all time, and not shit on the people who were keeping the records of when it aired or what episode was what, or, you know, any of the facts that I would think would just be an easy way. You know, it should be easy to know those facts. And apparently with Salute Your Shorts, you know, the guy was maybe smoking crack, as we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I don't know.
Such a half-nutted attempt, man. Like Paramount can catch a pair of these.
I don't understand. How do you have like? It's like they paid some money, and Nickelodeon was like, here's a hat with all the episodes of Salute Your Shorts. You get 6 of them, so just pick them out of the hat. It's not going to make sense, but those are the ones you get. Why not put them all up, Paramount? Steve?
It's so whack. Like it makes no sense, man.
I mean, as Donkeylips would say, fuck you, Paramount Plus. You pieces of shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, Salute Your Short. It's good that it's at least available. And we're going to be talking about it for the first time. They're airing the episode Donkeylips Crush on Dina. Dina tries to use a love note to get Michael to ask her out to the dance, only for it to mistakenly go to Donkeylips instead.
As a former fat child, Steve, this hit all the notes for me. I was triggered on this episode.
I mean, he was simping hard. Donkeylips was simping hard in this episode, but he does set her straight, put her in her place in a way. Such a chauvinistic term to use. Put her in her place. You're so negative. Negative.
To me, though, guys, watch this episode and see, like, it's a justified putting in the place. If I was treated the way Donkeylips was treated and talked about in this episode, and I'm sure maybe I was in my past life, I would be furious. And I feel like he handled it like a man. He handled it very politely and maybe in a way that your friend who was criticizing us would respect, because he laid it all out and he also helped her to understand herself a little bit. And Dina's, what I can only say, queen bitch of a person in this episode. She's just a bitch.
She was being ridiculous.
No one likes you, Dina, you fucking bitch. I didn't get it. So, right away, I got to say, Steve, the confusion in episodes, I actually watched 2 episodes of Salute Your Shorts because of this confusion. So it actually illuminated something in my head that I didn't understand from watching this. The memories were just confusing. In season 1, there's the cool kid in the camp, unless you like Budnick. To me, Budnick's sort of the cool kid if you like Bad Boys, but the cool, good boy kid is named Michael. It's a blonde kid. He looks very much like my cousin Michael. Again, very triggering. Kid used to whoop my ass when I was younger. Wow. But then in season, I believe 3, there's a character, Michael's gone. Apparently he doesn't come back to camp. So a guy named Pinsky is brought in as the new bad boy cool kid who's like his dad's like the salami king of the East, or has like some sort of salted meats company. So I forgot that. I was like thinking all these kids were, but they changed that a little bit. So here we are in episode 10 of the first season. Michael's still in this camp that's completely negligent. I'm watching this show now. The camp, these kids are lucky they survive the summer with the negligence on this camp. Ugg is really retarded. Dr. Khan, who is like the god or Wizard of Oz of Camp Anawana, is nowhere to be seen. He's just like in some office, doing drugs and not coming out, or if he's even there, I don't know. But other than that, those are the only adults that I see on the camp grounds, which explains why these kids are able to get up to all these hijinks and whatnot. So that was my first note was, where are the adults in this camp? Like, is this just like a prison camp that they just throw Ugg into and they're like, take care of these kids, or are there more adults that we're not seeing? Because I'm concerned.
Ugg was holding it down, one-man army.
Like a Camp Nowhere situation where it's just like these kids. Is this like a thing where these kids like came up with a scheme and they got their own summer camp? Or is it a heavyweight situation where they've captured all of the adults and are holding them hostage? I don't know. But they're nowhere to be found. And so we find Dina looking at Michael, the heartthrob, the camp hunk. Dina's the cool girl, like the mean girl of the camp, little hot little girl that's everyone likes. She's the Miss Popularity. And she's just throwing dream eyes over at Michael and just wishing that he'd look over at her, and he's not.
You're the last girl in camp without a date.
Well, not quite, Zizi. I'm going with him.
Michael? Did he ask you?
Well, not yet, but he will.
She plants a little love note on Michael's desk in art class to just let him know how she feels. And Steve, I ask you, did this ever happen to you? Did anyone ever plant a love note on your desk and a secretive, or like just to tell you how they felt about you?
No.
Okay. I thought we were going to get a good story. It got a little sad here, but Steve, don't feel bad because I didn't either, okay?
Too late.
I'm sorry, Steve. Cue sad music right now. So Steve, apparently you were not as lucky as Michael. You and me were the Donkeylips of Perrysburg. But anyway, Dina puts this gigantic heart-shaped note on this desk that Michael doesn't even see. And then it turns out Michael's been sitting at Donkeylips' art area, and Donkeylips returns and like, hey, this is my seat, buddy. Get out of my seat. And Mike, he gets up. Donkeylips sees this love note.
And he thinks it's for him.
It's for him, but Dina laid it all out. Like, apparently she didn't say "Dear Michael," so maybe there was a confusion there. But Dina's love note is it's like my grandma wrote it. It's not like a kid's love note. I believe it said something of the like, I think you want a sophisticated woman.
Yeah.
Take me to the social tonight, or like it's like what was this?
Like you're 13 or 12. What the fuck?
There would be some crazy shit on that note. I mean, there wouldn't even be a note now, but I'm just saying, there would be some crazy. It wouldn't be, dearest Michael, I just yearn for your touch. I just want to hug you and kiss you all night. It would be way different. But Donkeylips reads it, and he thinks his fat ass is about to get in. So right away, Steve. I'm triggered. As a former fat kid, I was Donkeylips without the lisp, and I could already see that he's, headed for disaster. So I feel for him.
And he thinks it's intended for him, and he shares the news with his camp bro Budnick. He reads off the letter, and it says, "Your picture should be hanging in the museum. It touches me right in the heart." And he's like, "She could have said liver, she could have said lungs, but she said heart." And Budnick says, "Oh, ooh, gives me goosebumps. Oh, gives goosebumps." I was just splashing paint around.
This is serious stuff. Dina loves you. But it's so sudden.
But Budnick's trying to he's trying to like point Donkeylips in the right direction. But I would not want to take Danny Cooksey's advice because he doesn't strike me as a ladies' man. Let's put it that way.
He's got a mountain bike mullet. Like, why would you ask this man? Well, I mean, I get it. It's Donkeylips, so he's asking for advice for anybody who cares.
I mean, you could ask a dog, like an inanimate object advice, and you'd get better advice than what you'd get from fucking Budnick. Who also, Steve, I just had this note. Did you ever watch the original Bad News Bears with Walter Matthau?
I sure the fuck did.
You know that do you ever think that Budnick is like a reincarnation of the bad boy that was like you remember in Bad News Bears, there was the kid with the dirt bike and shit. There was like the cool kid everyone thought was cool. And then he just came onto the team because he could play baseball apparently.
That's Jackie Earl. What's the guy? Isn't that his character?
That is him, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Well, I mean, is Budnick Jackie Earl Haley's illegitimate son then? Because I think we might have a match.
You could be onto something, man.
In ugliness, say what you will, but
That's why he had to get watched by the Drummonds in Different Strokes, man. He was the new Michelle Tanner character when Gary Coleman was starting to get too old to be cute. They brought in the new, and then sitcoms like to do that from time to time. They did that with Married with Children for a second. They gave them all a little brother, and that shit sucked. So they acted like he didn't exist in the following season. They did that with Brady Bunch when Cindy was getting too old and in that ugly adolescent stage. They brought in like a little brother. And
didn't they do that in Growing Pains too with Leo DiCaprio? Didn't he come in on that?
Well, they did that with Leonardo DiCaprio. They did that with Family Ties. They did that with Cosby Show. They brought in a young Raven Simone when Rudy was starting to get to that little fugly stage in life when she, is getting pudgy and getting bloated and she's 10. You know what I
mean? You need to drop some weight.
That's some cold shit.
I want to say it was like season 8 or 7, late in Different Strokes, man. When Willis is grown as fuck, he's got muscles, and Arnold looks like he's got midlife crisis. They brought in Danny Cooksey, and I think the big sister, who's probably strung out at this time, rest her soul, she had, I think, left the sitcom.
Well, he was like that age, like even Damien, like the demon baby from that whatever that movie's called, Rosemary's Baby. Damien was cute for a while, and then he became crazy. So I think Danny Cooksey was in that cute Damien stage that redheads are in when they're really young, and then when they hit Budnick age, it's like they almost look like they have they're divorced and have like a maybe a growing alcohol problem or something. It's like he's right there. Danny Cooksey in Salute Your Shorts looks like he already has like a pack a day smoking habit.
Yeah.
He could be outside that cabin just ripping butts, selling people candy or whatever the fuck you sell at summer camp.
He's just,
I don't fucking know. Like this kid is a budding drug dealer. Budnick will deal meth at one point in his life.
And when everybody's asleep, he's looking around for loose butts to light up. He said loose butts. and meanwhile, Dina's swooning over Michael, saying, "Oh, he looks like a young Tom Cruise, but more of a Tom Cruise Top Gun, not Tom Cruise Rain Man." Like this is still when female characters are referencing Tom Cruise as the pinnacle of handsomeness.
It's been a while, Steve. It's been a while. Also, Donkeylips going full fat kid trying to get like flowers and woo Dina with his, fat romantic gestures, of somebody that's never even seen a woman like him in real life. So again, been there as a fat kid trying to like look good in whatever way you can, trying to impress people. Hated to watch Donkeylips just about to ruin his own life. You know what I'm saying?
I'm simping.
I'm simping, Steve. I'm simping hard. Just trying to get some trains.
It's a hard life for a simp. So yeah, and he creeps into Dina's bunk and he drops off a bouquet and he eats part of her candy bar. The girls come back into the bunker, so he hides under the bed. Zizi says she smells some romance. Telly says
I smell something else, something nasty.
Right guard is for both sides, player. And did you peep their dirty ass shoes? Like, damn, like you girls.
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, they got some dusty ass shoes. And Dina, she sees the bouquet and starts blushing over her secret admirer, assuming that it's Michael. But it's not. It is totally not. And
it's me, Dina. Donkeylips.
And she crosses past Michael and finds out that someone stole those flowers out of the lodge and that they're actually for the social. She thinks it was Michael that took the flowers and put them on her bed. He asks her if she's out of her mind. He says he's going to the social, but it's not with her. Him and Spudge are going to be the DJs at the social, and that's right. They took the dorkiest kid at the camp and assigned him as the DJ. He asked her about the letter, and he says he never even got the letter. So if Michael didn't send her the letter or the flowers, then who did?
Maybe it's Engelman. I mean, his father's loaded, and we have a lot in common. Maybe it's Masson. Yeah, he can blow a bubble bigger than his head. Maybe it's Miller. He's got this amazing body. He's cute.
So Michael says kick rocks, and now Dina's left like, Is it the guy who can blow big bubbles with his bubble gum? Or maybe it's this kid who has a googly eye. The other options at this camp are not top notch, Steve. Let's put it like that. It's a lot of donkey lips.
Camp don't wanna.
It's the camp nobody gonna, because these kids are about to they're all in line to take the ride on the short bus back home. That's what it looks like,
And they're playing a baseball game at the camp, and there's a clue under first base. Dina gets a hit, and she makes it to first base, and she opens up the clue, and it says Cupid was right on target when he hit both of us. So this clue leads them to the archery area, and cue the Double Dare obstacle course music. The next clue says, I really get a kick out of how nice you are. So they all run to the soccer balls, and there's a clue. And the next clue says, I won't leave you in the dark any longer because I want our relationship to develop. So Dina runs into the dark room. She develops the picture to finally figure out who her camp bae is, and it's none other than Donkeylips himself.
Hey, Dina. What's up? Also, credit to Donkeylips for setting up an elaborate scavenger hunt with little to no time. I don't know how he did it, or fate aligned so that she found all these, Credit to him. I mean, I would have never done this. Is insane. But I guess shoot a shot. I mean, this is like the prom queen, or the homecoming queen you're trying to go after. So Donkeylips, salute to you, and what I guess is your first step into a career in some kind of maybe escape room thing, or setting up Jeopardy questions. I don't know. He's
very elaborate, and I feel who is his ghostwriter? You talked about the shit that Dina was writing. Who this sounds like it was above his pay grade. You're not capable. There's no way Donkeylips came up with this whole plot.
Yeah, he goes from this thing came apart to setting up a 5-stage scavenger hunt with these fucking similes and metaphors and just
right.
Apparently Donkeylips is a fucking genius and we just didn't know it. But Dina sees who her Prince Charming is. And man, this is a nightmare for a fat kid, Steve, because the words that come out of her mouth are disgusting, I believe I heard.
What's so wrong with being cruel and insulting?
Gross, just a general ugh. So even just that is just soul crushing. Donkeylips just weathering it like a gentleman, though. He's like, I'm just gonna take the abuse. But I gotta say, come on, Dina. You're gonna walk through life like this, just being. I mean, she's heartless, Steve. I'm triggered now because if this happened to me, I would have walked outside and hung myself. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have gone well.
She's one of those little debutantes, man. She probably did go to Perrysburg.
I mean, very Perrysburgish vibe, if I'm being honest. So this never happened to me in this way, but I did want to share a story of when a fat kid being insulted by a hot chick, or just a chick in general. When I moved to Perrysburg, this is one of the most heartbreaking moments for Matt Geddick, Steve, a young Matt Geddick, 7th grade art class. I don't even know that the girl's name is correct, but I think we had a girl in our class with the last name I think.
Michelle.
It might have been her and it might not have been, but for some reason I've tagged this memory to her, and I need to look at a yearbook because I could zero in on it. But we're in art class. I'm fat, and I get paired up with this girl who I think is Michelle. Michelle, if this isn't you, I apologize, but I think this is you. So if it is, fuck you. This is the assignment. Draw your partner. So I am sitting there and she has to draw me first, and she's like, this is legitimately what this girl said. Ew. Ugh. And she just starts drawing circles because I'm fat. And then she's like, you have a gross hairy mole on your arm. And she draws a mole on my shitty arm with hair going. She just berates me while we're doing this. I just eat this to the point it's still stuck with me, and I'm 38 years old almost. So
she's got a It's very detailed.
She's like, "You're fat," and she just starts drawing circles. I was like, "Bitch, no!" Like, am I okay with it now? Yes. If this isn't Michelle, I am so sorry I put this on you, but bitch, if it is you, fuck you. And that's
damn you. We saying full government names, bro.
I'm gonna bleep it, Michelle. If it is you, then fuck you.
Yeah, man.
But that's what I'm saying Donkeylips went through in this moment. And to his credit, he's still fully on board with hanging out with this chick. He still wants to try to like make this work, which is insane to me. I would have been like, fuck you, bitch. You just held it out. But that didn't happen. He's still like, you're going to the dance with me because you gave me this card and it says you're going to go to the dance with me. So apparently that's like a legally binding contract in camp where now she has to go to the dance with Donkeylips.
Well, everybody had a copy of the card.
I want to answer the question that you asked me in paragraph 2, line 1 of your letter, which everyone has a copy of.
But still, like, she could have been like, I'm not going to the dance with her. She could have explained it, but everyone's giving her shit. And they're like, if you don't do it, you're a bad person, I think is what they were like. Some people were saying, right?
Well, Telly and Zizi were going to jump her in the bunk. Telly stepped up to her like,
oh, yes, you do.
like rolled up her sleeves. Like, yeah, like, damn, we got that
Donkeylips. So
I was like, damn.
She gets shamed into going to this dance with Donkeylips, but she's still using adjectives like blob, smelly, sweaty, and disgusting to describe her date. So it's not going to go good, Steve. That's at least what I'm getting. You know, I don't think this date is going to be everything Donkeylips wants, but I guess shame is going to make them come together at this dance, because then we get to the wish.com dance of all time. I mean, this is one of the most shittily decorated dances that I've ever seen.
This party looked whack as fuck.
It was one Christmas like garland of lights and what appeared to be some like rags on the wall. I don't know. I didn't get it.
It looked like a grade school broom closet. And, you know, they're just sitting there and he asks, you want some cookies?
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on. I get like he's Donkeylips, but like just don't be fat for like an hour, bro. Like to the point, Steve. Donkeylips at one point in this dance is either picking up cookies from the ground and eating them or collecting them to eat later. And just any, like, you're not doing yourself any favors, bud. You got to stop. Like, what? This reminded me in a way, have you ever seen the movie Four Brothers?
Yeah.
Remember when the villain's like, you go eat on the ground? Remember that? That's just what I kept picturing when Donkeylips was on the ground. I was like, dude, this is so embarrassing, bro. Don't do it. But to be honest, he's just doing it so that Dina can have some cookies later.
Here's your cookies.
He asked his buddy Budnick for some more free game. And Budnick's like, man, she's a stuck-up wolf. It just, he says, just put your hands wherever she lets you. It's like,
again, he's a dirty uncle that's inside of this body of a fucking 13-year-old like ginger, and it's just weird. And also, it's just definitely weird, like, I get everyone knows what the situation is, but it seems like this whole dance is just watching Donkeylips and Dina. It's like a really high pressure situation.
Like the world is watching.
What's he gonna do? Oh, look at his hands going. He does, to Donkeylips' credit, though, he does try to get a little of that ass, though. He attempts. He gets swatted away, but...
If my body's a map of the world, your hands stay in the northern hemisphere, got it?
Yeah, and he actually knew that letter wasn't for him. He went to the dance with Dina because everyone thinks she's stuck up. So he actually did it as a pity date for her. And he was really her only option. And she was like, well, there's a lot of guys. No, he's like, no, I looked around.
No,
it's like,
not
and for that, because of that, Donkeylips, you got king of the day. I mean, you know, he was simping hard, but at the same time, we find out the facts, and it's like, don't nobody really fuck with you like that, Dina. Yeah, you're cute, you're Dina with the good hair, with the baby hairs, but you know what? At the same time, the young guys know, like, nah, I choose peace at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I got to say, the good guy wins. The fat guy gets the girl because by illuminating this to Dina, he helps her to see that she's being a bitch. And she actually comes around and starts, you know, she doesn't even want to stop dancing with Donkeylips. She's enjoying herself. So the date, are they going to go off into the sunset? Obviously not. Does Donkeylips look like one of the Green Street Posse or whatever those people were called in WWE that were like the pop collar Shane O'Mac guys? Remember those guys? Yeah. That's the look Budnick gives him in the makeover. And the only other thing I want to say about this episode that I forgot in my notes, because I got so into my own head about my life, Donkeylips is given a makeover by Budnick, who apparently is just a Renaissance man. He'll do anything for you. You know, he has all these talents. So he starts throwing mousse into this kid's hair. Donkeylips gives like a really sad story about how his family doesn't think he'll ever have love because he's so fat.
My dad thinks no girl would ever go out with me. Boy, I can't wait to see his face.
It's very sad, and then Budnick's like, let me hook you up, man, and gives him an almost like, I don't know what you would describe it as. It's almost like a faux flock of seagulls-ish thing going on.
S-curl.
I look like a big greasy porcupine.
Yeah, he had a Camp S-curl.
Not in my wildest dreams. If I had wild dreams, which I don't.
Why the wild acclaim for Tropicana Twister?
It's not normal.
Normal is boring, but nobody has more intriguing flavors than Tropicana Twister, like orange strawberry banana,
Decadent.
orange peach,
Deviant.
and new cranberry raspberry strawberry.
Perverse.
So tempting, they're sinful. Sinfully delicious Tropicana Twister. Flavors Mother Nature never intended, but should have.
Well, it certainly is colorful.
Now, in 1992, Mafia boss John Gotti begins a life sentence in jail for murder and other crimes.
Do you remember anything about this from when we grew up? Because I just remember him as like a name, you know, like he had a reputation and a name, but I don't really know too much about the Gotti shit.
I remember the name. I remember hearing the name, and you know, I wasn't privy to the mafia as much as I am now. Back when I was a kid, we were kids, but you know, John Gotti, that name was referenced in hip hop songs.
Yeah. I mean, he was like that character that you see in mob movies where he is the boss. And in this case, he was very public about what he could. And, you know, he was like an Al Capone where he was like a public figure and you knew what he was up to, but he would never, you know, it was just like he never got caught until he got caught, you know. But I think he was, what was he called? The Teflon Don, because
Teflon Don
couldn't touch him. Like he wasn't going to get arrested. And that's what I remember. He was just like the cool mob boss that everybody thought was cool. He was like a celebrity, but he was also a killer and a mob boss, you know? So there was that. But yeah, I don't want to say what a cool guy, but I just remember his vibe was just fucking cool in the night.
Yeah, he had a cool vibe, and that's really how I'm going to leave that one. 1992, on that same day, the NBA draft is held for 1992, and LSU center Shaquille O'Neal is the first pick by the Orlando Magic, picked over Christian Laettner, Jim Jackson, Alonzo Mourning. And man, did he leave an imprint on the game, not just on the game of basketball, but in pop culture in general. What would this world be like without Shaq Fu, the big Aristotle, Shaq Diesel?
Make them shiver. I mean, fucking Kazam, you know, Steel. We could keep going, guys. But did the Magic get it right? God damn, did they? And I gotta say, when this happened, as a child, Shaq became immediately my favorite basketball player. I don't know if it happened before he was drafted or it was just like the media hype after he was drafted, but it all culminated in me like him he overstepped Michael Jordan at this point for me. I was just like, he's the best. He's my favorite. To the point, Steve, I'm sure I could find this because my mom does not throw anything out, but I was so into Shaq. I got the pumps. I begged for the pumps. I had those. Broke them. So that was a fuck up on my part. Then I had the jerseys. I had shirts. He even had this weird, do you know what the business Avon is, where it's like women buying like home shit with each other?
Yeah, my mom used to do that.
Yeah. So, but they had a catalog. And like any kid, if there's a catalog, I'm going to look for toys and shit. And Avon actually sold a Shaq hype tape that was literally him going home, and like it was like a documentary about him and like how he came up. I bought that. Yeah. And I had an Avon Shaq tape. I was such a big fan. Like, love this guy. And dude, I became like an Orlando Magic fan overnight, you know? Because people forget how much hype this motherfucker got. Remember like Blue Chips?
Yeah, he was in Blue Chips. We covered that.
Yeah. So it's like you couldn't get away from Shaq. And it was thankfully it was for good reason. He was not a flop. He was just a sensational athlete and a fucking badass at everything, apparently, because he was an actor. He was doing it all. And I'm a huge Shaq fan to this day. So.
And he was in Good Burger, like I said before, as well as The Wash. He had, I don't even know if he had a talking role in The Wash, but he knocked out the guy for talking shit to his sister.
Yeah, I think he had like the same level of role like Ludacris had in The Wash.
Well, fuck you then, old trout mouth ass nigga.
A cameo.
Yeah, but yeah, this was a huge moment in NBA history and like you said, pop culture history, because he became like a Michael Jordan type where he was in like McDonald's commercials and everything. You couldn't get away from him. And to this day, I mean, the motherfucker's in the Hall of Fame, right? Like he is
twice.
Yeah. I mean, the dude is just a legend. And that his hook shot, I tried to do that as a fat kid my whole life. Just posted up, turning around in that one arm little like boop, that little thing. That was my little fat kid basketball move for most of them. And still to this day, if I tried, that would probably be my go-to. So
now in 1995, on June 24th, the Stanley Cup Finals are held at Meadowlands Arena, East Rutherford, New Jersey. New Jersey Devils beat the Detroit Red Wings 5-2 for a 4-zip sweep. The Devils' first Stanley Cup Finals appearance and first championship, man. Now, later in that decade, the Red Wings would get their get back and basically own the decade and just run the gamut. But the 95 Devils, they got their shine this time.
Again, not a huge fan. We grew up in Toledo. A lot of the people that we knew that liked hockey liked the Red Wings. So I'm aware of them and that success that they had. And the only thing I remember about the New Jersey Devils from my childhood, I do remember this like moment. Now that you show it, I remember them winning. But I always wanted one of their jerseys. I just used to love their logo as a kid.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know, but as a chubby kid, a hockey jersey. Just ask Kevin Smith when he was fat. A hockey jersey hides everything, you know,
especially a black one.
Yeah, exactly. So, don't know much about the New Jersey Devils, but as I guess, secondhand fan of the Red Wings, go fuck yourself, New Jersey.
Now, once again, 97 was a great year for hip hop, for music in general, man. And in June 24th, 97, Twista releases Adrenaline Rush. And man, this is one of the albums released in 97 that I still listen to. Adrenaline Rush. Adrenaline Rush. 55 minutes and 31 seconds it is. And, I think this is the album before Kamikaze, and that's another classic.
That's the one my white ass bought and knew of more. But as a Twista fan, I mean, first of all, shout out to Chicago. He's probably top 3 Chicago rappers of all time. I don't know who you think that would be, Steve, but he's got to be up there. And
Kanye got to be in there. It's probably him, Kanye, and
Common.
Yeah, and Common. Yeah.
But I did not listen to this one as much. You were listening to it as we were sort of doing our pre-show thing, and it's Twista albums are all the same. Fire beats, rap music. I will never be able to repeat because I can't move my mouth in that way. So I told Steve as we were sort of getting ready for the show that my thing with Twista that I think I was like not as huge of a fan of because his shit was so hard to memorize and like repeat. That was my thing as a younger dude. I used to love listening to rap when I was driving in Ohio and like at work and stuff. And for some reason, I think because like he could talk so fast, he wasn't in my top because I was like, I can't say this. I can't repeat this. I can't do this. Yeah. So, but I mean, doesn't he still hold the world record for most words said in a certain span of time? I think he held that crown for a while.
No, Marshall broke it.
Oh, okay.
With Rap God.
Okay, well, sorry, but I mean, for a while he was holding it strong, and this motherfucker.
Oh yeah, for years.
Kills a beat, and I got Kamikaze. That's my favorite one, but I'm gonna go back and listen to this one too because it. I mean, the dude is just straight. He has to be one of the best, like at least top. What would you say, 20, 30 rappers of all time? He's up there.
Probably top 30, maybe. There's a lot, man. That's one of those lists.
Tough.
Yeah,
you're right, but I mean, he's up there. We listened to him in college. You know, me and Jordan used to listen to his shit all the time.
And on that same day, 1987, Wyclef Jean releases Wyclef Jean Presents the Carnival, another classic from 97. This is the one with Saturday Night Fever, I believe. Look at here. Look at Shorty got back. Sound something down. Like that's the only one I remember. Oh, and Gone Till November. That was more of a slower acoustic song. That I want to say might have been his second or third release later that year, man. But that album was 73 minutes, 51 seconds. And I remember this is one of the albums I would hear being played in the summer of 97. It was one of those albums, man, along with Wu-Tang Forever, along with Adrenaline Rush, and as well as Life After Death. These were all songs and albums that I would hear. This was kind of like the soundtrack, my soundtrack of the summer of 97. And the Saturday Night Fever, I don't think that was the actual name, but they took that Bee Gees beat. And I heard that video was played a lot on VH1 and MTV as well, man.
Yeah, I don't remember this album. I was never like a huge Wyclef solo guy. I did like the Fugees a lot, but I don't know. I just never got in. To me, his greatest moment was when he was on Chappelle's Show in that one skit with making the band. But I don't know. He never like moved the needle for me, really.
I got you. Now, I mean, before that, Lauryn Hill released the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and that made her a megastar overnight. And this album right here, Wyclef Jean, he's kind of proving that I can exist as a solo artist. I don't need to rely on Lauryn. I don't need to rely on the Fugees, on Proswell. But on that same day in 97, on June 24th, Insane Clown Posse released the Great Malenko. I was never a, juggalo. And I knew some people. I was associates. I'm not even going to say friends. I was associates with some of these cats, these juggalos in Perrysburg. And I never cared for their music, but I respect these guys. They're self-made millionaires. They have merchandise selling out the fucking ass, and they have legions of fans. They got it out the mud from Detroit, Michigan, man. And, to that, bravo, man.
They did. And I was not a juggalo, but I bought this album specifically because so many people in Perrysburg were playing it, and I got pulled in. I got pulled into the insanity of it. But I mean, if you think about it, these motherfuckers were a joke, and they've always sort of maintained this low level, like everyone else in music kind of thinks they're a joke type thing. But like you said, they've maintained this weird fandom where their fans are diehards and they have these huge like festivals and shit. And they are self-made millionaires. So salute to them. This album, I wouldn't say has bangers on it, but it's just weird that they popped off. And this album is it's almost like comedy rap. You know what I mean? That's what I always thought it was.
Isn't this their magnum opus? Isn't like when people refer to someone's body of work, when you talk about ICP, is this the one that people kind of reference or go to?
I feel like this is the one that like got mainstream appeal in any way.
Yeah.
Like you knew about them. Like you said, you didn't like them, but you knew about this album probably from being in Perrysburg. So in that regard, I guess, but I'm sure if you asked like a rabid juggalo what their magnum opus is, it's not. It's probably they probably think this is like, oh, you like that one? Like that's the fucking,
Is this like the Black Album for ICB? They after that they fucking sold out. I liked them before everyone started. Like in some regards, sometimes those people are right. I don't know what to compare anything to with ICP, but I know what Metallica. I came into the game way after the Black Album, and I like the Black Album, I guess because I wasn't a fan during the Master of Puppets era. I was a kid in the 80s when they came out with Ride the Lightning and shit like that. And I like that stuff too. So I think because of me coming into the Metallica game much later, it's like I didn't have a bias.
I'm with you on that. But I would say like a credible comparison of like in terms of credibility is the Cottonmouth Kings.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like a jokey, hokey rap group that's only, they have like a gimmick. They're, Insane Clown Posse is just like psycho clowns, and Cottonmouth Kings are just rabid potheads. Like all they rap about is weed, so I think maybe that would be a comparison. But the thing I like about this album that sets off in my memory is like this was the period of time for me where I had to really go out of my way to hide the fact I was buying parental advisory CDs from my parents and stuff, because my parents were very strict about it. If I had them, they wouldn't really like say anything, but if they heard what it was or if they knew about it, they would not let me get it. And I think parents knew about this, or maybe there was like some communication between my friends group of parents. So they found this and I was grounded for a long time. I think I had loaned it to somebody and their parents got mad and it got back to my mom. But that's why like this, I don't know if it holds a place in my heart, but I just remember this period of time where it was like, let's go to CD Warehouse and I gotta go get a parental advisory CD. I gotta get that Adam Sandler joint real quick so my mom doesn't find out, and then I'd like rip the parental advisory part off so it just wasn't there, so they didn't have anything to notice. So Matt Geddick really going out of his way to listen to curse words, Steve, back in the 90s.
They thought gang violence only happened in South Central LA. Now it's coming to Beverly Hills. An all-new 90210 Wednesday.
And in 1998, on June 24th, South Park is airing the episode Summer Sucks. Summer at South Park is not going well. Fireworks are banned and a giant ash snake is ravaging the countryside.
I always loved summer, Steve. And my first note is last day of school. Didn't you love that day? Was that a great day in your world when we were kids?
It was such a release, and I'll never forget the last day of high school ever.
Can I ask you something about that specific year? Because when we went to high school, it always is. It's very cliquey. But like literally the week before we graduated, like all those cliques started to dissolve. And I began hanging out with people I would have never hung out with in high school. Did that happen to you? Or did you just like hang out with your same group of friends? It never changed. Like, because to me, all those barriers, and those groups that you didn't hang out with when we were going to school, that all ended.
I see what you mean, but I was still kicking it with the cats that I was kicking it with. But at the same time, I saw that grab all. It was like a free for all. Like, who wants to hang out? Anybody can hang out. You want to hang out? Let's hang out.
Let's all fucking hang out. We don't give a fuck. We're not going to see each other next fall. So it was weird. But I mean, that kind of went. That's why you and I think, lived together, right? Because we didn't really like hang out. It was just sort of we were class buddies,
Yeah.
But then
we were on the same bus.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. But I mean, it was then after like somewhere, I don't remember when we agreed to live in the dorms together, but it was somewhere like right, I think after we had graduated, I believe. Maybe
you might be right.
Maybe we did it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was something like that. It was either around graduation, like a little bit after.
I think I hung out with you the night we graduated too, like in like a hotel.
Yeah, our friend worked at that Marriott, I want to say,
like a budget hotel, but it was
something like But we had like a party. It was a group of us, man, and yeah. I ended up making out with her that night.
I brought the beers, Steve, and then the next day I got in trouble for having the beers in my trunk, and my parents found them. It was just a whole shit show that summer, but I remember that. Yeah. So, South Park, apparently they're not getting into it. They don't like it, but I enjoyed the summertime. Clearly I was not living in South Park. And, like every school, the last day of school is filled with antics, people slacking off, people pulling pranks. And in this case, someone stole Mr. Hat from Mr. Garrison. He can't find him. Yeah. And that's a problem.
And no one's fessing up. And he's like, Harry, I'm going to turn my head by the count of 3 or whatever. By the time I turn around, I better be right here. And by the time he turns around, everyone's gone except for Pip. They leave Pip.
Cheerio. Hello. And then we find out later that Pip, he has to go to summer school. We find out a little bit more about Pip than I wanted to know. Pip's going to summer school this year. Everyone else is going to party, but he's got to go to summer school. Why, Steve? His parents are dead.
Yeah.
Nobody gets him.
And the boys laugh. It's so horrible.
Your parents are dead? God damn, you suck, Pip.
Like, what the
I know. I was like, God damn.
This is only the second season, Matt.
And they don't give a fuck. The kids are like, your mom and dad are dead? Cool. We got to go get some M80s, guys. Fuck Pip. Fuck his dead parents. We got to go get us some fucking firecrackers and shit. So, this is another note I said. This was never something I was into. I know a lot of all the people we went to college with and all these like crazy white people from Ohio that we knew, they love blowing shit up and buying fireworks. This was not something I was ever into, but the kids at South Park, that's their whole summer, is just blowing some shit up. So they got to do that. They need to go get some fireworks, but problem, Steve, South Park's banned all fireworks.
I'm sorry, fellas. Haven't you heard?
Heard what?
All fireworks have been banned in Colorado.
What do you mean?
It was in the paper this morning.
They don't want any Jason Pierre-Paul incidents. They don't want any kids blowing their fingers or face off.
Yeah, they're banned.
They're banned. They're all banned. Anything that blows up, makes a noise, whiz bangers, fun bangers, whiz blobs.
No black cats, no Roman candles or screaming mimes, whistling bungholes, no spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, Husker do's, Husker don'ts.
M80s, they're all gone. The only thing left, the snake. The dumbest fucking thing. You couldn't even get a sparkler off these fucking people. You can get this dumbass snake. I remember buying these things. Remember those like packs you could buy at a grocery store in Ohio? It was just like, it looked good, but then you opened it up and it was all like those poppers and these snake things, which are to this day like the dumbest fucking. I don't know who this ever entertained other than maybe like Depression era people dying of starvation. I don't know, but I wasn't a fan. But it's all that's there.
Those are the ones that always stuck around. You never, like, a lot of times I didn't even use them. They'd be there all year round in the cabinet and just be stale, and they would just be there. Like, I think there might be still some at my grandma's house.
That's hilarious. Like, I mean, they just don't serve a purpose. Like, who was the guy at Black Cat that was like, guys, I got a new product. Check this out. It becomes a big ash turd. Like, what? Come on, Gary.
Maybe in the 1910s.
Yeah, exactly. It was like literally, it was the moment after they invented fire, and we're like, oh my God, fire. This was the next step. That was it.
This looks like the thing that was in the Garden of Eden. Oh my God.
Doth mine eyes deceive me? What
Let's go get some penny candy.
Is this?
Let's go to the junk joint, you see. Go to the soda fountain, see some swell gals, and go pop off some burning ass snakes and get some penny candy.
I mean, so I wouldn't be excited. The boys are just crushed because, you know, again, in South Park, it's either blow some shit up or I guess what their second idea is to build a dirt man. They build like a snowman out of dirt and mud and shit. So, you know, the options are not great. There it is. They build a giant dirt man, basically.
Ingenuity, man. Necessity is the mother of invention.
You got to have fun. So that doesn't seem fun. And I think the mayor of South Park would agree because she's in her office just freaking the fuck out because it's like, we got a 4th of July event coming up. We got to throw some fireworks at these people. We can't even have fireworks. It's illegal. And apparently it's even illegal for the mayor to use, which is crazy. And so she's freaking out. But then we find out she also has a stress relief tactic in office ready to go for such an event like this, which is Officer Barbrady trying to find the little man in the boat.
I'm sorry, Mayor, but I couldn't find the little man in the boat.
Well, keep looking.
Yeah, underneath her desk.
Yeah, so he's fiddling around. He can't seem to find it, which is infuriating for women, obviously. But in the moment of her him finding this man in the boat, she has a great idea, Steve. We can only use snakes for the 4th of July. And that's stupid. Nobody likes that. This isn't 1890. But what can we do? This is America. So if it's boring, how do we make it better? Make it bigger.
Make it huge.
Huge. So she very much is in that Trump state of mind. We're going to make this the biggest fucking snake the world's ever seen. Not South Park, the world. So get on the horn with Black Cat, firework manufacturer. Let's get this going. Oh, Barbrady finds the man in the boat right at the end there. And, you know, I think we could all be as lucky as this woman to just live this life where you're being filleted under a desk, Steve. So salute to her. Salute to Officer Barbrady for finding this mysterious man in a boat. You know, it can be hard sometimes. You know, a little direction would be nice, ladies, you know?
Yeah. And Mr. Garrison, he shows up unshaven and looking unkept because he can't find Mr. Hat. And
I don't even like that two-timing son of a bitch.
Oh, that old thing? Why, I almost forgot he was gone.
We also find out that Cartman, he has to take swimming lessons, but he's taking swimming lessons with first graders who pee in the pool.
I took swimming lessons and I was not aware of this rule, but yeah, they're pissing all over Cartman and he's like, God damn it. He's in there and he's swimming his little fat ass off. But as soon as they let these first graders in, it is piss central over here in this pool. And I never thought about this as a kid, but I think I was swimming and ingesting a lot of piss at that Perrysburg public pool, Steve, if this is any indication.
We also cut back to the town event and the giant snake arrives on 3 helicopters. After that, we cut back to Jimbo and Uncle Ned going to Mexico to get firecrackers. And they end up getting a Tijuana bottle rocket.
Mm-hmm. That real deal firework, which if you're selling them in Tijuana, that's like one step away from a nuclear bomb, probably. But
And
one thing I want to say about the South Park festivities is not only are they trash in the what the fireworks that are available, but South Park's school orchestra or band or whatever it is has to play the national anthem, and they're sucking some dick.
Oh, we're doomed.
They are not good. So like the whole thing, it's going to be a fiasco unless this black snake ends up, doing
saving the
something
show,
amazing, I guess. But then we cut to Mr. Garrison back home. He's come back from the wilderness, and clearly Mr. Hat's absence is really hitting him hard because he's watching Lamb Chops play along, and he's fantasizing about chopping lamb chop and Sherry up into little pieces. He's all in pieces, and he wants to cut them up into little pieces, apparently. So I'd be on the lookout if I was PBS at that time.
That is actually the funniest part of the episode to me. He's daydreaming about chopping off lamb chop's head and throwing it on the grill. Now Cartman's afraid to go into the deep end. He only knows how to do doggy style, and he tries to swim doggy style, but once again, the first graders pee in the pool.
Come on, Eric, come on in. You have to get into the pool. God damn it! And yeah, they just douche this pool full of piss. And again, like, remember, I don't know how much you swam as a kid, but I do remember at some point in the 90s, there was always this rumor that pools had this thing that if you pissed in them, there would be some sort of like reaction where it would like ink up and show that there was piss in the pool. Do you ever remember this?
From the chlorine,
something where it like discolor you so people knew you were pissing. So I was always afraid to piss in the pool. I didn't piss. Are you a pool pisser, Steve? Were you in that?
I've never pissed in a pool. No, I had the wherewithal to get up out of the pool and go to the public restroom.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. I'm not a pool. I'm a shower pisser every once in a while, but not a pool pisser. So I'm gonna at least admit to that. But he's just trying to live his life because he can't hang out with his friends because they're trying to get fireworks to shove up his cat's ass. That's another storyline. So he's like, skiing ass, fucking ass, I'm going to go swimming. And he just can't even get a win there. He's just getting pissed all over. So like you said, they get this snake. Eric's cleaning the piss off him. We get to this event, and they light this snake off. And it turns out that the South Park snake is about half a mile in diameter, Steve, which is huge, and 20 stories high. So they light this bitch up, and they did not account for what would happen after they lit it up. It starts basically taking over. It's like the Blob.
Hello, I'm asking you when it stops.
I'm not sure. I never made one this big.
It starts to take a life of its own. And it even takes Kenny's life as it smashes Kenny with a fence. And apparently that snake's not going to stop growing until November of that following year. And everyone's running for their lives. Meanwhile, Ned and Jimbo are driving back to South Park with their Tijuana bottle rocket, and they get stopped by Border Patrol. And they end up getting taken in, and the boys who they don't know what to do. So their next option, their best option is always to call on Chef. But Chef is in Aruba, and he's singing the ladies, simultaneous loving, baby. And they call, and he's like, usually kids, I don't like to say this, but
well, fuck you.
And as we were talking about earlier, this episode has a Chef song. That was one of the biggest parts of the show in the early stages of it. I miss it. It's a shame that he never was able. I know, obviously, rest in peace to Isaac Hayes now, but they lost him after a certain point. But man, those Chef songs, this Chocolate Salty Balls, if you remember that classic, I loved his songs. And Simultaneous Love. I mean, is this not one of the greatest sexual anthems of the 90s at this point, Steve? It's right up there with like a Barry White, like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Baby, and then Simultaneous Love, and it's right there.
It's either 2 or 3.
Her and you and me.
And we cut to Mr. Garrison, who's having a psychiatrist visit with Dr. Katz. And Dr. Katz asks Mr. Garrison if he's gay. And he's like, he's not, but Mr. Hat is. Sometimes he fantasizes about same-sex relations. Sometimes he dreams about being in a sauna with Brett Favre and Thousand Island dressing.
That I did not need to know.
Yeah, and Mr. Garrison is not having Dr. Katz's line of questioning. He says, "Are you gay?" And Mr. Garrison's like, "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" So
yeah.
And do you remember Dr. Katz, Steve? Did you watch that show?
Yeah,
I love
it. I didn't watch it as much as South Park, but I remember watching it from time to time.
It was in that block of like cartoons that Comedy Central had early on that they played all the time. And to me, as somebody who likes stand-up comedy, even as a young kid, that show was great because, I mean, really all it was him, he was a stand-up comedian, and then everybody on the show was a stand-up comedian that was like his patient or whatever. So I love Dr. Katz. I forgot he was in this episode, but he has his suspicions that Mr. Garrison's gay. Apparently Mr. Garrison's not. You know, it's all Mr. Hat. Mr. Hat's got that hunger for some penis. So we cut from that. And Ned and Jimbo are in Mexican jail now because Jimbo they go across the border with these fireworks and he shits the bed. They ask him if he has any fireworks in the car, and he pulls the stupid move of admitting to it, and they end up in Mexican jail. But thank God for this ash snake, because in its basically rush across the country as it's growing, it actually breaks Ned and Jimbo out of jail in Mexico. So this thing is ravaging the world at this point, but they get out.
It looks like my ex-wife.
And at that same time, Mr. Hat, we cut to this weird cutaway where Mr. Hat's actually in a bathhouse, a gay bathhouse. And I think Brett Favre walks in looking buff and maybe with a little Thousand Island dressing, if I saw it correctly. So.
Yeah. And we cut to the next scene, and the mayor isn't showing up to the city press conference regarding the Bernie snake because she's having her period. So her representatives deliver her message for her. And it's basically, we're sorry, our bad.
That's it. Sorry for all the deaths and the destruction. But my bad, I'm on my period. And so again, this snake apparently is going to basically kill the earth. But Ned and Jimbo come back to town after escaping Mexican jail, and they have, what were they called, Steve?
Tijuana bottle rockets.
Tijuana bottle rockets, which basically appear to be the rockets that Johnny Knoxville launched off that dock in Jackass 2, I think. They're like human-sized bottle rockets, which, thank God, some are saved for Stan and Kyle. They light these bitches off. And thankfully, it doesn't kill them and everybody around them. They go off into the sky, and it kills this marauding ash snake that's about to kill the world. And they actually save humanity, I think. It appears from this ash snake.
And it leads to it like basically raining and snowing black ash everywhere.
Yay! And now, in South Park, that's like Christmas in July, apparently.
And we skipped over where Cartman was in the pool by himself because when the dead snake was ravaging the town, the pool was shut down. So Eric decided to take a little private, basically a private lesson. And once the snake died, the pool opens back up again, and Eric is rejoined by a gang of first graders who waste no time turning that pool into corner store lemonade.
Sons of bitches! Sons of bitches!
Mr. Garrison shows up, and Kyle asks him where Mr. Hat is. Mr. Garrison says that Mr. Hat's a two-timing whore.
From now on, children, you're all going to be learning from Mr. Twig. That's right, children. I'll see you in the fall.
Chef comes back after that. He's back from Aruba, dripping. He's wiped all the pussy juice off. He's made relations with, mothers and daughters. He's made relations with all the ladies in Aruba, basically. And he comes back to South Park, and he's pissed because it looks like some shit.
Yeah, because of the falling in black ash, it gives everyone blackface, and he doesn't know what to make of it.
I didn't even realize. I like looked away from the TV, so I didn't even see that. I was just like, oh, he was pissed this place is dirty. No, it does make everybody have blackface. I completely missed that. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and that's how we end the episode, man. Now, you know who probably didn't watch this episode of South Park, Matt?
Well, I don't know, Steve.
Pacific center Michael Olowokandi, the first pick by the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA draft in 1998, and he was picked over Mike Bibby, Anton Jameson, Vince Carter, Jason Williams, not that Jason Williams, Dirk Nowitzki, and Paul Pierce and Rashard Lewis. All of those people were all-stars at some point in their lives. Michael Olowokandi, Olowokandi forever, for never. He was considered he was considered one of the biggest busts in NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that name, but I think it's like Ryan Leaf. You only remember it because of how big they failed in the pros, you know?
Yeah. Now, that was everything June 4th in the 90s. Any callbacks, honorable mentions, any takeaways, Matthew?
Well, we keep mentioning it, and I'm not going to go too ham on Paramount Plus because I don't really think it's their problem, but as a show that focuses on watching things based on the air date and, you know, us having reliable information on that, just wish we could zero in on this salute your shorts problem, because every week there's a salute your shorts that we could potentially watch, but then we veer away from it because we can't figure out when it was available or even where to watch it at. So I don't know if there's some sort of hatred of this show that some executive is, you know, keeping close to his heart and like fucking it up. But guys, let's get these Nickelodeon, I don't know what you would call this, a sitcom, whatever. Let's get these shows out so we can all watch them and enjoy them for what they are, because we're missing out, Steve. In this one that we watched, you saw a little example of it, but I had to watch like another one that was just as good, and it just sucks that we can't get reliable information on that. So I don't know if, you know, maybe the guy who kept those records died in a fire or something, like, and they just lost it. But let's, Nickelodeon or whoever is in charge of this at this point, let's get your shit together.
Refurbish those tapes, man. Like, don't go half-ass with these attempts. And I do like the selection. I finally checked out Paramount Plus on over the week, man, and I like the Nickelodeon selection. At least they have Salute Your Shorts. I believe they have a Hey Dude. You didn't tell me they had Nick Arcade.
Dude, honestly, I'm so against it. I probably didn't see that. Or blocked it out when I did, because I've been like, I wanted to cover now that you mention it, we're going to cover Nick Arcade because you and I both have a huge love of that and the host and everything. But I don't know. I think I got so in my head about this Salute Your Shorts thing once I realized we don't have access to all of the episodes that I wrote Paramount Plus off. So Paramount Plus, apologies from me for going so ham on you previously. So maybe my anger needs to be directed in a different way, and I apologize for that. So sorry.
No, man. I mean, well, hey, dude, they have a great selection, but it's still, I get what you're saying. It's pretty robotic, the way their selection process goes, man. You click on a button sometimes, and it's kind of blocky, kind of choppy. So it's like little mechanics that they need to fine tune.
Yeah, get it to the Netflix, Hulu level where it's all there. It's working smoothly. I can find things easily, and I'll appreciate you forever. But for right now, I guess you're working the kinks out, and it doesn't help that there's such unreliable information on the shows themselves. So, hey, we're all like ourselves, Steve. I'm sure Paramount Plus is going to realize its faults, and it's going to improve on itself, and that's all we can ask.
Now in 1990 in Living Color, they aired episode 10, and this was the debut of Vera DeMilo, I believe, Jim Carrey's character that was recurring. Yeah, the female bodybuilder. So that one stood out. And then in 1993, Yale computer science professor Dr. David Galertner loses the sight in one eye, the hearing in one ear, and part of his right hand after receiving a mail bomb from a Unabomber.
Yeah. That whole thing, the Unabomber thing, like, I don't know enough about it to really like go in depth, but it is a very interesting story in general, because that Ted Kaczynski guy is a real life example of somebody who was manipulated by the CIA in testing and drugs. and they made that guy, and he ended up he was basically doing the storyline of like a Terminator movie. He was trying to eliminate technology so it didn't end the world. So that in of itself is crazy, and that he actually went about this and did this, and to the point where he's mailing people bombs, and like this was a thing. It's a crazy fucking story. I don't know how much you know about it, but
very little, man. But it's kind of like a real life version of Thanos in a way, man. Like,
kind of. I mean, but basically, it's just strange because he went to, I think it was Harvard. It was like it's Stanford maybe, but they did like these acid tests on people, and it was basically like a sort of mind control Manchurian candidate type thing that they were trying to do, and it just basically they succeeded in what they were doing and created like this weird hermit guy who was a super genius. Like he was a mathematics professor right before he became the Unabomber, but all of a sudden he just snapped and said, fuck society. It's about like technology is going to kill us all. Went out into the middle of nowhere and started, building these bombs and shit. But it wasn't like this guy was just some like lunatic idiot that was just, walking around like incapable of life or whatever. This guy was like a genius, and he was just, his mind was manipulated by the FBI or CIA or something to create this situation. So that's never really talked about that much. It's more of like he perpetrated domestic terrorism and, did mail people bombs and shit. But yeah, he's it's not a sympathetic character because he is a psychopath, but his mind was fucked by government testing and shit. So it's if you ever get into it and have time, it's even just generally, there's been a lot of documentaries and shows made about it. It's super fucking interesting and crazy to see what actually happened.
So what's going to be going on with Crushgasm this week?
Fortunately, we've been dealing with like a little bit of a family issue on Kendra's side. So it's been a crazy time, but thankfully everything's going well. And we were able to release an episode last week while we were dealing with that. We'll be editing this week's episode literally this weekend to get it ready, but new episode out Wednesday. I believe this one's going to be about crushes on Degrassi, the show, the childhood show from Canada and now Netflix. So they're going to be talking about that. And I think the episode after that is actually going to be Steve's episode. So look out for that, everyone. Listen. Finally. Well, you got to send photos, my dude. We got to have pictures of you looking all good. And you said you had to get your hair cut to look good. But we've been waiting on those photos. So got to get them, partner. Need those.
That's what partner. All right.
But Steve will be on it. No shade. I'm just saying we've been waiting on that to edit. And also my wife is very particular about the subjects and the order of everything. So that's why we haven't heard Steve's episode yet, but it's in the can and we're waiting and we're about to edit it. So a lot of cool episodes coming out. She has a lot in the can. Like she's very good at doing what we can't seem to do, which is get future episodes like in the can and ready to go like for, months in advance. So shout out to Kendra for being a badass, and shout out to Steve for about to reveal his crushes on Crushgasm coming soon. But check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on all major audio platforms. Steve, what's going on Over the Culture?
June 20th is happening on Over the Culture, and I'm going to be talking about the album Don't Be Cruel by Bobby Brown. I'm going to be talking about the album Heartbreak by New Edition and how those albums were released on the same day. New Edition was Bobby Brown's original band, and they started having kind of a bitter rivalry because he was the breakout star. He was kind of like the Shawn Michaels of the gang, the Donnie, the original. Before we had Donnie, he was the bad boy of this boy band, and he was getting too big for his britches. But in the 80s, Bobby Brown was the man. He did the song song for Ghostbusters. Every little step I take will be together. He was and so Don't Be Cruel is a essential 80s album for R&B especially, and so is Heartbreak. They're both classics released on the same day. And we talk about, I don't know if that was done intentionally or not, but they did have a rivalry. And we're gonna be talking about Blues Brothers. It's going to be the anniversary, the 41st anniversary, or 41st anniversary of the Blues Brothers. So we're going to be talking about that too, man. Great album, man. R.I.P. to all those legends involved. John Belushi, Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, Matt Murphy, Cab Calloway, just so many legends. James Brown, who played the Reverend. And yeah, man. So that's going to be on Over the Culture. That wraps up Happened in the 90s with Steve G and Matt G. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and even comment.
Simultaneous loving, baby.